Hello everyone, welcome back to the next class. We are going to continue the next part of the human reproduction. After male reproductive system, female reproductive system, structure of the mammary gland, let's look at the part of gametogenesis in the title human reproduction. Let's look at the definition of the gametogenesis. As the name says, the first part is a gamete, second part is a genesis. So genesis is nothing but a formation of what? Gametes. So where exactly the gametes are produced? The process of formation of gametes in the gonads is said to be gametogenesis. So let's define the gametogenesis. So gametogenesis is defined as the process of formation of gametes in the gonads. So this is the definition for gametogenesis. So here the formation of gametes are formed in the gonads. Then what are the gametes? Gametes are nothing but they are the sex cells, and the male gamete is sperm, female gamete is ovum. Then what are gonads? Gonads are the organs that produce the gametes. In the males have male gonad, which is called as testis. Females have female gonad, which is called as a ovary. That means testis is the male gonad that produces sperms. Ovary is the female gonad that produces the ovum. Now the gametogenesis can be defined in another way also. There is a one more technical way of defining gametogenesis. The process of formation of haploid gametes in the gonads is also called as a gametogenesis. So the process of formation of haploid gametes from the diploid germ cells in the gonad is also termed as a gametogenesis. Now in the gametogenesis there are two types. So let's look at the types of gametogenesis. The first type is a spermatogenesis. And the second type is oogenesis. Spermatogenesis and oogenesis. The general definition of gametogenesis also suits good for the spermatogenesis as well as oogenesis. That means we are taking the same definition for these two terms. So there are two types of gametogenesis: spermatogenesis, second one is oogenesis. How can we define spermatogenesis with respect to the general definition of gametogenesis then? Okay, now look at the definition, how we can frame it easily. So the process of formation of a gamete, which is the male gamete here, sperm is the male gamete. So process of formation of sperms in the gonad, which is the male gonad, testis. And hence we can define spermatogenesis as the process of formation of sperms in the testis. Similarly, for the oogenesis, we are using the same definition with just two different words. Oogenesis is the process of formation of ovum in the ovary. This is what is called as a oogenesis. So spermatogenesis and oogenesis are the methods of formation of gametes, and hence the process is said to be gametogenesis. Now in this class, let's see the detailed account of spermatogenesis and the role of hormone action during the process of spermatogenesis. The same thing follows for the next concept, which is called as a oogenesis. So let's look into the detailed account of spermatogenesis now. Okay, now when we come across the spermatogenesis, as we came across the definition of spermatogenesis, what is spermatogenesis? The process of formation of sperms in the testis. This is called as spermatogenesis, formation of sperms in the testis. Now based on the heading only, we can frame the definition in a simplified way. Now how exactly the sperms are produced in the testis. So there are different steps by which the sperms are produced. So let's see the steps and we'll go to the schematic representation of spermatogenesis. Now if we look at the steps of spermatogenesis, the first step is said to be phase of multiplication. The second phase is a phase of growth, and the third phase is a phase of maturation. So this is regarding the 3 steps during spermatogenesis. Now let's look at the schematic representation of this. Okay, now during the process of spermatogenesis, we have a diploid cell here. Then this diploid cell undergoes the process of mitosis, and this is mitosis. Then this cell will increase in its size. Now this is the first phase, which is called as a phase of multiplication. Phase of multiplication, where we also call it as a mitosis. Then the second phase, this is called as a phase of growth. This is a phase of growth, where the cell will increase in its size. Then this cell undergoes a meiosis. Here we have meiosis 1, or we also call it as first meiosis, to produce into haploid cells, 2 cells, and these haploid cells undergo the second meiosis. We also call it as a meiosis 2. Second meiosis to produce into 4 cells. Then what these cells are called? Now if we look at the first one, this cell, the 2-end cell, this is called as a spermatogonia. This is called as a spermatogonia, which is diploid. This is called as a primary spermatocyte. This is primary spermatocyte. And this cell is called as a secondary spermatocyte. Secondary spermatocyte. These are called as a spermatids. And finally, these form into spermatozoa. These are spermatozoa, which are also called as a sperms. And this last phase, we call it as a phase of maturation. This is the phase of maturation. And this part we also call as a spermiogenesis. This is also called as spermiogenesis. This is the methodology or schematic representation of a spermatogenesis. It can be represented in another way, which is given in your NCERT also. Okay, so I am representing in this way, and let's check how exactly it resembles the diagrammatic or the schematic representation given in your NCERT. Now look at this. During the process of spermatogenesis, what do we say? Process of formation of sperms in the gonad is said to be spermatogenesis. Now we know sperms are produced in the testis. Where exactly the sperms are produced then? Sperms are produced in the testis in the seminiferous tubule. And already we know how many seminiferous tubules are present in each of the testicular lobule. Yes, 1 to 3 seminiferous tubules are present in each compartment or each testicular lobule, which already we have studied in the male reproductive system. Then totally how many compartments are present in a single testis? There are about 250 compartments. Now what is the function of seminiferous tubule? The function of the seminiferous tubule is a production of sperms. Then which are the cells that help in nourishment or growth of the sperms? Yes, it is the Sertoli cells that helps in nourishing the primordial cells, or we call them as male germ cells, to form into the active cells called as the spermatozoa or the sperms. Okay, now if we look at the steps, look at the first step, phase of multiplication. Phase of multiplication is nothing but the male primordial germ cells, where we also call them as a spermatogonia, or these spermatogonia can be also called as a gamete mother cell, sperm mother cell. Now this spermatogonia, what happens is the spermatogonia first it has to enter into the phase of multiplication, where we also call it as a mitosis. So what is mitosis? Mitosis is nothing but a multiplicative division, or we also call it as equational division, because the chromosomal number are equal in all the daughter cells. Then how many total number of chromosomes are present in the spermatogonial cells? It is diploid, meaning 46 chromosome. So for 22N meaning 46 chromosomes are present in the spermatogonial cell. Now this diploid cell, this 2N cell which is present in the testis, it undergoes the phase of mitosis, where one cell will divide into 2, 2 will divide into 4. Now out of these, one cell will enter into the next phase. The other cell will continue with the multiplicative division, so that the spermatogonial number can increase. Now this cell, this can be also called as a spermatogonial cell only, because this is also a diploid cell, this is also a diploid cell. Now this spermatogonial cell undergoes the second phase called as a phase of growth. Now this cell will increase in its size. So look at the size here. If we compare the size in this cell, it will increase in the size little bit, and now this cell is called as a primary spermatocyte. Remember, primary spermatocyte is that cell that produces the sperms. Now look at this. This primary spermatocyte undergoes the next phase called as the phase of maturation, in which the primary spermatocyte, which is diploid having 46 number of chromosomes, undergoes a first meiosis to produce into two haploid cell. Remember, first meiotic division is a reductional division, which already you have studied in class 11. Now, after meiosis 1, when two haploid cells are formed, these haploid cells, now they are called as a secondary spermatocytes. These secondary spermatocyte, haploid secondary spermatocyte, undergoes a second meiosis, meiosis 2, second meiotic division, to produce into 4 cells. Now these cells are called as a spermatids. Now after the spermatids, these spermatids undergo transformation into spermatozoa, or where we call them as a sperms. And the last process is called as spermiogenesis. The definition of the spermiogenesis we'll just look at. Now, this is the process of spermatogenesis, where the functional sperms are produced from one spermatogonia. Now, during this process, where exactly the process occurs? It occurs in the seminiferous tubule. Okay. Then how exactly it occurs, and how exactly these gametes are formed? So let's see that part. Now during the process of spermatogenesis, the sperms has to be produced, and these sperms are produced in the seminiferous tubule. So let us take this as a seminiferous tubule. In the seminiferous tubule, this is one round seminiferous tubule. I am just taking its transverse section of the seminiferous tubule. Now in the seminiferous tubule, here we have the larger cells, and already we know that these larger cells are nothing but nourishing cells or nerve cells, where they are called as Sertoli cells. Now on this side we have growing cells, and these are gamete mother cells or primordial germ cells, where these are called as the spermatogonia. This is spermatogonia. Then which is this cell? This is the Sertoli cells. This is a Sertoli cell, where we call it as a nourishing cell. The Sertoli cell will provide a nutrition for the spermatogonia so that the spermatogonia develops. The spermatogonia develops into primary spermatocyte, and this primary spermatocyte again it develops into secondary spermatocyte. This secondary spermatocyte develops into spermatids. These spermatids undergo transformation to form into the sperms. Look at the process. The Sertoli cell should provide nutrition for these cells so that the diploid spermatogonial cell undergoes first mitosis, later on meiosis process to produce sperms. Now, when the sperms are produced, all the cells, look at the cells, all the cells are embedded in the Sertoli cells because they have to derive the nutrition from the Sertoli cells. So that's why the head has to be embedded into the Sertoli cells. So the head is embedded inside here. They derive the nutrition from the Sertoli cells and finally develop into functional sperms. Look at this process. Haploid sperms are produced from diploid spermatogonial process. This process is said to be gametogenesis, process of formation of gametes. Okay, now at the end of spermatogenesis, how many functional sperms are produced? Count them: 1, 2, 3 and 4. There are 4 functional sperms that are produced during the process of spermatogenesis. At the end of spermatogenesis, from one spermatogonial cell, from one primary spermatocyte, how many sperms? 4 sperms or 4 spermatozoa are produced, meaning the same only. 4 spermatozoa or sperms are produced. So this is regarding the process of spermatogenesis. Okay, now let's look at the process of spermiogenesis, and we also come across one more term called as spermiation. So first let's see what is a spermiation. Spermiation is nothing but when the sperms are formed, the sperms are embedded in the Sertoli cells. When they are released out of the Sertoli cells, this process is called as a spermiation. Then what is spermiation? The release of sperms from the Sertoli cells is said to be spermiation. The release of sperms from the Sertoli cells. This process is called as a spermiation. A release of sperms from the Sertoli cells is said to be spermiation. Then why the spermiation process should occur? What will happen if there is no spermiation? If there is no release of the sperm from the Sertoli cells, then how they can move into the retatestis, vasa efferentia, and how they can be stored in the epididymis. So that's why the sperm has to be released, and now they can be carried through the accessory ducts so that the sperms can be released for the next process called as fertilization. So this is what is termed as a spermiation. Then what is spermiogenesis? Even the definition of the spermiogenesis will be asked. We should know the definition of the spermiogenesis also. So spermiogenesis the transformation of inactive, non-motile and non-functional spermatids into active, motile and functional sperms. This process is called as a spermiogenesis. The transformation or a conversion of inactive, non-motile, non-functional spermatids into active, motile and functional sperms. This is what is termed as a spermiogenesis. Okay. Now here the entire description of the spermatogenesis will be asked. We should know what exactly is the spermatogenesis, definition of the spermiation and definition of the spermiogenesis. So this is regarding the part of the spermatogenesis. Now, and this is the diagrammatic schematic view of seminiferous tubule, and this is the schematic representation of the spermatogenesis. Now with this, let's look at the role of hormones during the process of spermatogenesis. How exactly the hormones will influence for the production of sperms in the males. So how exactly the hormones act on the testis. So that is the next process or the part of spermatogenesis. So let's see that part. So role of hormone action during the process of spermatogenesis. Okay, now already we know there are two hormones called as a FSH and LH, follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. Now these hormones are produced by pituitary gland, but first they have to be stimulated by the hypothalamus. Now hypothalamus will release a certain hormones called as a GnRH, gonadotrophic releasing hormones. They act on the pituitary gland. This pituitary gland is present in the hypothalamic region. Below the hypothalamus, the pituitary gland is present. Now pituitary gland, already we know where we have studied regarding the structure and the function of the pituitary gland in the previous class only, in class 11. Pituitary gland will produce 9 hormones. Out of these, 2 hormones are produced by the hypothalamus. Rest of the 7 hormones are produced by pituitary gland itself. Now this pituitary gland, when hypothalamus releases gonadotrophic releasing hormones, this acts on the pituitary gland and releases gonadotrophins. Gonadotrophins are the hormones that stimulates the gonads. Gonadotrophins are the hormones that stimulates the gonad. Then which are the gonadotrophins? FSH and LH. These are the 2 hormones called as gonadotrophins. Which gonads do they stimulate? They stimulate the male gonad also called as testis. They stimulate the female gonad also called as a ovary. That's why they are called as gonadotrophins, gonadotrophic hormones. Now this pituitary gland, it releases FSH and LH hormone into the blood. Then this FSH, it acts on the testis. FSH and LH, these hormones acts on the testis. Then what is the function of FSH and what is the function of LH? Now FSH, what it will do, FSH acts on the testis, and in the testis there are certain cells where we call them as Sertoli cells. It acts on the Sertoli cells, and these Sertoli cells helps in spermatogenesis. They help in spermatogenesis process. Then the other hormone called as a LH. LH is a luteinizing hormone. In males, LH is also called as a ICSH. ICSH means interstitial cell stimulating hormone. LH is also called as a ICSH. This LH hormone acts on Leydig cells. This acts on the Leydig cells. Remember, Leydig cells are present in between seminiferous tubule. They are also called as a interstitial cells. Then what is the function of a Leydig cells? When LH acts on the Leydig cells will produce the male hormones called as androgens. These androgens, the principal androgen is testosterone. That means it helps in production of testosterone. So testosterone hormone is produced. This testosterone also influences on spermatogenesis. It also helps in the progression of the formation of the sperms, and the process is called as spermatogenesis. Now, what will happen if enough quantity of FSH and enough quantity of LH hormones are produced? They have to be stopped. That's why there is a negative feedback mechanism also, where when FSH is secreted in large quantity, when spermatogenesis process is sufficient, then these Sertoli cells will secrete a hormone called as inhibin. Sertoli cells will secrete inhibin. This inhibin, it provides a negative feedback mechanism on the pituitary gland so that the release of FSH will be stopped. Similarly, when testosterone is secreted in large quantity, then there is a negative feedback mechanism where it stimulates the pituitary gland to stop the release of LH. So this is called as a negative mechanism. This is called as a negative mechanism. When FSH and LH, their quantity is more, there is a negative mechanism. That means it stops the release of gonadotrophins called as FSH and LH, and when they are required, they are released from the pituitary gland under the influence of hypothalamus. That means hypothalamus also controls the release of the gonadotrophins. So this is regarding the role of hormones during spermatogenesis. Similarly, we come across the same thing in the oogenesis process also. But this is the action of the hormones during the process of spermatogenesis. We can now look at it once again. Hypothalamus releases gonadotrophic releasing hormones. This GnRH hormone acts on the pituitary gland to release two gonadotrophins called as FSH and LH. Both the hormones acts on the male gonad called as testis. And in the testis, FSH acts on the Sertoli cells of the seminiferous tubule that helps in spermatogenesis. Then in the testis, LH acts on the Leydig cells or interstitial cells where it produces the male sex hormone testosterone. Testosterone also influences on the spermatogenesis. Then when the hormone quantity is more, Sertoli cells will secrete inhibin hormone that provides a negative feedback mechanism. Negative meaning it stops the release of FSH. Then when testosterone is also produced in sufficient quantity, there is a negative feedback mechanism through the neurons. The message will go to the pituitary gland, and as it provides a negative feedback mechanism, the release of LH will be stopped. So this is regarding the role of hormone action during the process of spermatogenesis, and this completes the part of spermatogenesis. The first part is different, the second part is different. So these are the hormones which influences on the process of spermatogenesis, and hormone should be present. Without hormones there is no process that occurs in our body. Even enzymes plays an important role, hormones also plays an important role for the body metabolic activity also. So this is regarding the part of the spermatogenesis. And regarding your NCERT representations of this, as I told you, in the NCERT the representation is a little bit different, and that representation is I'll just give you the hint over it. The spermatogonial cell, so they have given in this way. This is the spermatogonial cell where it undergoes mitosis to form into two cell. these two cells undergoes also mitosis to form into diploid cells. So this is 2n, it undergoes mitosis 2n, 2n, it undergoes mitosis 2n, 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 2n cells. All are diploid cells only. And this cell is nothing but this is a spermatogonia only. Now, out of these, one cell will enter into the next phase, which is a haploid cell, and this haploid cell is called as a primary spermatocyte only. This spermatocyte undergoes the process of meiosis. We call it as first meiosis to form into two haploid cells. And these two haploid cells, now we call them as a secondary spermatocyte. Now this secondary spermatocyte undergoes a meiosis to produce into 4 cells. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. They are called as a spermatids. This process is a second meiosis. And finally, these spermatids undergo modification to form into 4 functional sperms. So last 4 are sperms or spermatozoa. And here this is mitosis. So this is the spermatogonial cell, primary spermatocyte, secondary spermatocyte, spermatid and the sperm. This is the representation along with these terms which are given in your NCERT. Either you can follow this or this. Okay, so this is the best method of understanding where from the diploid spermatogonial cell 4 haploid sperms are produced. So this ends up the process of spermatogenesis, and the next part will continue in the next class. Thank you.